Oh, welcome delegates. This is Andrew Durgasov, the conference manager for the Gold Perinatal Online Conference. I'm joined today by Dr. Andrew Bisits, who's going to be talking to us about his presentation that's upcoming on evidence surrounding breech birth, mechanisms and management. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Bisits.
Thank you, Andrew.
I've just got two questions for you today, just to kind of whet people's appetite before your actual talk with us. And the first one is, why do you think we've moved away from vaginal breech birth as a society, and what do you think is the biggest myth about breech birth today?
So, particularly to answer the first part of the question would take some time and is almost a sociological study in its own right, but simply what has happened is that there has been a spiral of fear and loss of confidence in relation to birth in general, and then this has been particularly noticeable in the area of the possibility of vaginal breech birth. That is now viewed as really a point of no return, and that because of the fears surrounding complications for breech and really the accompanying loss of confidence, because so many practitioners have hardly had to sit through a vaginal breech birth, that this flows on to the rest of society, and so women receive the message that this is simply not possible, and so that's the biggest myth, that vaginal breech is no longer possible because we can do caesareans so easily, and it's true there is a low incidence of adverse outcomes, and of course that people lose confidence, and therefore there are too many factors which militate against the safe conduct of vaginal breech birth that we should all just forget about it, right? So it's, you can tell by the tone of my voice that it's a particularly unhealthy way of thinking. So a lot of what I talk about is countering those fears and myths. It's not in an irresponsible way. It's acknowledging that hazards do exist, but it's also reminding ourselves that we live in an era where we've got every capacity to minimize those hazards and work with normal processes so that we can, where women so decide, they should be able to make a decision for a safe conduct of a safe vaginal breech delivery.
Thank you. That's just an excellent answer. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in this kind of this natural process that you're going to be discussing in greater detail during your talk. We also wondered, what do you hope healthcare providers will take away from your presentation?
I think the main thing is that to walk away with some concept of the safe and responsible conduct of a vaginal breech delivery in a woman who's at 37 weeks or more of pregnancy. And the emphasis there is on the safety and the responsibility. And by taking that away, people, practitioners and other people will keep vaginal breech birth on the radar. Now, I suppose that's particularly important where a breech birth comes unannounced, because this will always happen. Women will turn up in the later stages of labour, and there has been the late diagnosis of a breech, and what we would like to see in that situation is, rather than immediately resort to the possibility of a risky caesarean, practitioners will be able to calmly and confidently assess the situation, and in many cases simply support the woman to proceed with a natural birth. So it's particularly, and do that in a calm way, so it's particularly that situation that is important, and it's simply to one of the unfortunate myths that's been propagated since the publication of the term breech trial is that we don't have to worry about vaginal breech births anymore. Now the point is that they still do happen. Women will still want to have them, and we have to have a slightly more refined approach than simply to say to every woman, you need a caesarean and we can't do anything else.
I think those are really good points, and I think our delegates will really look forward to hearing a bit more in depth about what you were discussing and kind of your history of work about this subject. Thanks so much for joining us and for answering our questions. I'm sure it'll get people excited in hearing your full lecture. Just want to remind everyone who's listening that Dr. Andrew Bisits will be speaking live on Tuesday, the 28th of October at 2100 GMT time. So please do check our website for when that exact time is for your particular time zone. But in case you're not able to join us live for that particular session, there's not a worry there. We're going to be recording it and offering it on our website as well for a number of weeks. So thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Andrew. We look forward to hearing about your talk soon.